What's up? It's your boy Skyler, and I wanted to respond to somebody's comment that black men or black fathers need to be home taking care of their kids. Um, True that. We definitely need to be at the house, taking care of our kids, and I think most people want to do that. But really, what we're trying to talk about is where these problems come from, not the problems themselves. And the problem is not that black men aren't being accountable. To the contrary, we would be accountable if the system really allowed us to do that and if the system really supported that. But unfortunately, the system does not support us being accountable. Whether you could look at any area of our society and you could find corruption. Whether you want to look at the school systems, I can give you examples all day of where the corruption lies and how I've actually experienced it myself. When I was in high school, I was in a typing class, and I was failing that class after 3 weeks because I wasn't at the same typing speed as everyone else. Well, that's a problem. I shouldn't be graded based on somebody else's speed. I should be based on my own personal progress. So there's corruption in the school systems. I ended up dropping that class, and I didn't learn how to type. I had to learn myself years later. The reason that there's a lot of us in jail, and that's by design. That's not just a coincidence. It's not like a coincidence that we're in jail. It's not a coincidence that we can't raise our kids. It's not a coincidence that the Twin Towers were there was a plane ran into the Twin Towers and that they fell. There's planning. There's definitely planning behind all of this. But all in all, I would say that the central bank, Federal Reserve, World Bank, International Monetary Fund, CFR, I'm in all that kind of stuff. I believe that really is the root cause of our issues. And until, you see corruption, there's a relationship that the international bankers and a lot of people with a lot of money have with politicians. Well, that's corruption, because if you're going to have something as altruistic or as democratic as politics itself should be, anyways, you can't have these types of relationships where people can contribute to campaigns, or people with money can have lobbyists go in and get their agenda pushed through. There's corruption through the whole thing. Democracy is not really democracy at all. It's all these structures of corporations and things like that. People find all these loopholes. These people who really, they have money, control, and intelligence on their side, they control everything. They can plan, and they can do whatever they want to do. And so we're just kind of like pawns in their game. There's a big fishing bowl, and we're goldfish. So I feel what you're saying about fathers, but I think it's difficult to get there. When you're a child, you're in a malleable stage. You can be taught anything at that stage. When you're just a young baby or young child, you can be taught anything. But after you become older, you're an adult, you get kind of set in your ways, and it's very hard to take personal responsibility. It's very easy to say somebody should take personal responsibility, but it's not really linked up in that person's neurology to be that type of person. So the reason that you see the rich getting richer is because it's a cause set in motion. Their mindset, their ideals, their training has already been put in place when they were a young kid, and they watched their parents doing business, or they watched their parents being intelligent, or they watched their parents being leaders. If you don't have that in the black community, how can you grow healthy fruit from rotten trees? So it's not, I don't put blame on our predicament. I do recognize that it is up to us, if we want to better ourselves, to first of all gain awareness of what the issues are, and then say that we're going to make a change, that we're going to try and work to better ourselves, and so that the next generation could do better. But it's not black people. Black people is really not our fault at all. If you really want to get down to it, it's the system that's in place and the people who are pulling the strings. So with that, get your book, The Creature from Jekyll Island, A Second Look at the Federal Reserve. I always recommend that book because You know, if you really want to know how things are going to turn out, you read that book, you're going to see why things happen the way they do, and you're going to see where we're going. And somebody told me about that book, and he said I'll never regret it, and I went and bought that book. And I didn't know this guy. He was a bum on the streets of Venice Beach, California, but he started just talking to me, and I listened to him, and I knew he knew what he was talking about, and it sounded really, really interesting. So I went to Barnes & Noble, bought the book, and to me it's like the Bible of what's really going on in America. If you really want to know what's at the heart of all these issues, you get that book. The author is G. Edward Griffin. It's The Creature from Jekyll Island. Also, there's there's a gentleman online, his name is Alex Jones. If you look him up and you watch his videos, he's really got some good stuff to share with you. So I would hit him up, and I would also look at zeitgeistmovie.com. Check that movie out. You won't be disappointed. But I just see a lot of like kind of ignorant comments. They're blessed comments because they're leading us towards the truth, because there's people that are out here, they're seeking. But the truth can be elusive, and it's not just one thing. It's complex. But what we need is just more knowledge. We need to be less negative online. We need to be more humble and just seek out the knowledge, and so that our truth can improve. So with that, thanks for checking it out. You guys take care. Peace.